After a while, I got really sick of ruminating over everything, and this video today is just going to be sharing with you how I stopped ruminating, or at least how I stopped ruminating in its tracks, because there is a process. I always catch myself ruminating when it's nighttime, when I'm going to bed, and maybe I'm feeling a little anxious, or I feel like most often it happens when I'm waking up in the morning and when I don't have to work and when I'm off on the weekends or for a holiday like today. I just like to lie in bed for a little bit and be grateful and just think about things that bring me joy. And all of a sudden this worry from work started to creep up in my brain, and I started trying to figure out the solution to the problem, which I need other people to fix. So like I wasn't going to be able to come up with a solution on my own, but so it was kind of pointless for me to be ruminating over everything. But I stopped ruminating this morning first by praying, and that's the first tip I'm just going to give you is pray. Give it to God, which sounds really easy, but there's an art to that. You know, it's easy to say just give it to God and just expect people to know what that means. But when I give my anxious thoughts to God, my thought process, which is different from my feelings of anxiety, because sometimes hormonally or because of my mental illness, I get feelings of anxiety I can't give to God because they're more emotional, they're more like in my heart and in my chest and through my body. So I'll have to take my medication to deal with those. But anyway, I stop ruminating those thoughts first by giving it to God, and the first thing I do when I do that is I try to focus on something else. I'm actively praying on it, like, God, take away this cycle, this rabbit hole, but then I'm also trying to replace those thoughts with something that brings me joy. It could be anything. Like, I like to be creative a lot, so I start to think of things that maybe I can do or create very, very soon in the middle of it. So I'm actually using that time, that energy, that anxiety to do something really good. I also love giving it to God while you're trying to think of something else, because it kind of allows the Holy Spirit just a little bit more room to get in there and kind of change your thoughts for the better. When you invite the Holy Spirit into your thought processes and like ask him for wisdom and everything, like he gives you that wisdom, he gives you what you need. And so if you're asking him to guide your thoughts in the middle of like a rumination type thing, then you're actually bringing something good in and casting something bad out. And one of my favorite verses, actually it's my favorite verse in the entire Bible. It's from 1 John 4, and it's perfect love casts out all fear. And there's just so much I could just break that verse down into, but for this case, perfect love really does cast out all fear. And so when you bring God into that and when you try to focus on something else, it really does help. And another thing that's really important when you're trying to not ruminate is to be consistent with the prayer. So don't stop, because I found out this morning that sometimes those thoughts, those ruminating, persistent thoughts, they persist, and you almost need to keep repeating yourself over to get them out. Those thoughts fight to be in your brain, and it's bad sometimes. And when those thoughts are pushing against each other, you kind of have to be consistent. You know, I'm going to keep praying. I'm going to keep fighting to think of things that bring me joy, think of things I can create. One of the easiest things you can think of are just things that you're grateful for and why, and just kind of allow myself to sit there and be in awe a little bit of God. Like if I'm going to be thankful for the snow outside today, I'm going to be like, it's so pretty, it's so beautiful, it's right around Christmas time. Like I'm going to go into why, and actually going in depth has helped me replace ruminating thoughts with good thoughts. But that's kind of what I do when I find myself anxiously going down a rabbit hole. I'll pray, I'll try to change my thoughts, and I'll be consistent with it. And I'll often bring gratitude into it as well. And I do think we just need more like simple tips and simple solutions to dealing with our anxiety, because often enough our anxiety overwhelms us as is. And so the simpler we can make our solutions to managing it, the better. At least that's what I've learned with myself, because we can't be overwhelmed when we're anxious. We're already overwhelmed. Thank you for watching this video. And if you want me to make another video about how spiritual warfare can give us ruminating thoughts, let me know in the comments and I'll kind of go more in depth with that. Other than that, thank you for watching. Have a great Christmas.